Try it now. Can y'all hear me? A lot of static, can't hear you. Not my Rode mic's not working today. Uh-oh. How I'm gonna make fun of Doc? Mike skipping and y'all can't hear me. All right, y'all. See, that's what happens when you talk miss. I done sit up here and titled it Belt to Ass Season for South Carolina State, and North Carolina Central is about to take the lead. What's going on? All right. There we go. I was on trick-or-treat duty, like taking my son trick-or-treating. So that's why I didn't get on earlier. My bad, y'all. And he over there snoring like he worked a 60-hour week. He over there snoring loud as heck. Y'all, why did I say belt to ass? And I was getting ready to talk all this mess. And here come North Carolina Central. They said, you thought. Trey Oliver said, not on my watch. You just got here. You're not getting ready to whoop up on me. What happened? What adjustments were made? Uh-oh, now they got injuries out there. All right. I'm getting ready to pull up the stats for everybody. But isn't this a game? I love this game because it exposes the weaknesses of both the teams, but it also highlights their strengths, right? So one thing that I see South Carolina State has is a balanced offense, right? They can run and they can throw. South Carolina State, they played FAMU. A lot of people thought that they should have won. I feel like if South Carolina State played FAMU this week, that would have been an L, a big L for FAMU. Now What is South Carolina State doing that they did week 0 or week 1? Not finishing the game, not finishing it out, right? Because I want to say FAMU came back and won. Let me see. That is not it. That is definitely not a first down. Not where that yellow line is. Look at that ref cheating. That's not first down. That is not first down. Fourth and inches. South Carolina is not that bad. Thought they were good. Listen, it's not that I didn't think that they were good. I knew that they had something because they have Eric Phoenix, who, they've won. Benedict, of course. Oh, nope. No, it's not. Lord. Well, we all know earlier that was a fumble. So maybe they're evening the score up. All right. I'm getting ready to pull up the stats, y'all. So they are 1-0 in the conference so far, 5-2 overall. They're undefeated at home. So this right here is big for them. They're actually 3-0 at home right now. So if they don't pull out this win, that's going to be an upset. Undefeated at home this season. So I didn't know this, but our Jackson State great Trey over here is also a North Carolina Central alum. So if it's North Carolina Central versus Jackson State, the previous play is under review. Who are you rooting for, Trey? It's not a first down. I don't think it was. What is going? It's like South Carolina State will be hot, and then all of a sudden they get cold. North Carolina Central has scored 14 unanswered points in the fourth quarter. Wow. So Eric Phoenix is 26 of 36 for 321 yards, 2 touchdowns, 1 interception, 72% completion rate. I did not even finish. Walker Harris is 13 of 22 for 211 yards, 2 touchdowns, 1 interception, and 59% completion rate. So it looks like they passing a lot and they running a lot. Good Lord. Hey. We over here talking about the South Carolina State versus North Carolina Central. I need that belt to ass. Let's see if North Carolina Central can do a big one. I don't know. The way that both of these teams are playing, I'm just like, ooh, this is a great matchup, no matter who it is, right? But I like that we get to see what both of them are laying it out on the line. So you're gonna see everything this week. Nothing's gonna be unturned. They're gonna let out the playbook. Oh. Yes. No flag. Oh, what happened? That's Walker Texas Harris. So they got a DB for sure. Let's see. I bet you they try him again. He ain't going nowhere. Let me do a poll. Who do y'all want to see? Okay. So I'm not necessarily just giving Jackson State the celebration bowl, but it's ours basically to lose at this point. We are in first place in the SWAC East. I'm not going to say that there's not a formidable opponent in the West, but the West, so the it's so wide open. Oh, fumble, 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 fumble. Where's my pom pom? I don't want to cheer too hard, and then we face them. And who is saying the MEAC will win no matter what? Ooh, that big fumble and fumble recovery. Big fumble. Fumbleina! Fumble! Ooh, wee. Barker went and got that ball. You see that? Ooh. That's what I'm talking about. That's what I like to see. I like to see defense. Defense. Ooh, ooh. Uh-oh. Look at Jay White. Jay White said he a bulldog. No matter if we in the MEAC or the SWAC, he a bulldog through and through. This game is intense, right? What does it remind you guys of? The back and forth, the defense, the turnovers. North Carolina Central said we not soft in the middle. Oh, look at Jay White. Those are Bulldogs brothers. Knowing they're going to try to steal their coach. You going to try to steal Chinnisberry from them? Third and 3. Do you think Chinnisberry is the offensive play caller? Who is their offense? Oh, he wide open. Oh, it's wide open. So you see that Eric Phoenix is a dual threat quarterback, right? And he'll take off. And he knows how to slide. Oh my God. 455 total yards, 321 pass yards, 134 yards. What does that tell you? They defense is soft in the middle or something. In the secondary too. 321 yards. You know what's unfortunate? What's unfortunate is I did not complete my my football fantasy this week. Because I would have had Eric Phoenix on there this week. You guys want to play North Carolina Central again? Ooh. That was big. Look at Jay White trying to steal Chinnis already. Chinnis is not leaving South Carolina. That's 7-on-7. Ooh, that was a big one. All right. So some things that oh Lord, some things that I noticed. Jay White, don't you start that mess in here. South Carolina State is 7 of 14 for third downs. Chennis Berry, sometimes he be going after them fourth downs like they're third downs. Ooh. This is Maynard's farewell tour. Next game, Southern. There's a flag down. A lot of folks want to see North Carolina Central back in it. I think I want to see South Carolina State back in the Celebration Bowl. Uh-oh. That's a defense. That's against the defense. Ooh, he is hot. Ooh, he is hot. Give him another penalty. Give him another penalty. Give him another penalty. Do it again. He is mad, y'all. Coach Trey Oliver is pissed. What they throw the flag for? I ain't see no penalty. Jackson State is a dangerous team, boy. I would like to say that Jackson State will. Oh no! Oh no! Oh, a snap! Bad snap! Trey, quit doing that juju over there. Talking about South Carolina is a dangerous team. Who are you rooting for? I don't necessarily have a dog in the fight, right? Um, I feel like either one of these teams in the Celebration Bowl against Jackson State, it's going to be a formidable matchup. Of course, I'd be pining North Carolina Central, but I don't necessarily have a team that I'm just going for. South Carolina State's offense is out of this world. I feel like it's similar to Jackson State's. It's balanced. They have a run game and they have a pass game. For me, and Walker Harris is a decent quarterback as well. He has a pass game, but he's not necessarily a dual threat quarterback. Let me look at these matchups. Yeah, North Carolina Central does not have a rush game at all. They have 58 yards so far. They only have 58 yards rushing. So I only root for SJSU and SU secondly. How do you root for Southern? And everyone else, I don't care unless we need help in winning something. So we need help in winning something. We want the team that we think is going to be. I don't know. I feel like giving Coach Chennis Berry 2 to 3 weeks to prepare is dangerous versus. Eric Phoenix finna throw a Hail Mary at this point. All he has to do is get it in position for a field goal. And let me see. If he gets a field goal, it'll be 27-21, which means that it'll make it to where they must score a touchdown to win. Otherwise, they can tie it up with a field goal. Uh-oh. If I am Chennis Berry and it's 4th and 1, what y'all doing? Y'all going for it? 4th and 1, what y'all doing? I'm going for it. See, he's doing the Jacoby and Morgan. Jacoby gonna take off and get that first down. Eric Phoenix puts me in the mind of a dual threat quarterback. So, it's 4th and 2. 2 minutes and 5 seconds left. There's going to be a 2-minute warning, of course. Are y'all going for it? Fred said he's going. They did have a stat up earlier that said that South Carolina State has a really high percentage for completing 4th downs. All right, let me look at this. So as of right now, Walker Harris is 14 of 24 for 210 yards, 2 touchdowns, 1 interception, 58% completion. Eric Phoenix this has not been updated because it's still roughly the same. I see South Carolina State has had 76 plays versus North Carolina Central having only 40 plays. I feel like South Carolina State is the better team versus North Carolina Central when you see it. When you look at the stats and then when you look at it like on the field, South Carolina State has the more all-around team because they have both passing and rushing. If you look at the total yards, North Carolina Central has 268 total yards versus South Carolina State having 464 yards. Eric Phoenix is their lead rusher, but they do have Tyler Smith, E. Carter, K. Adams. So they have some other they have some running backs. Tyler Smith has 5 attempts for 36 yards. He averages 7.2 yards per carry. And North Carolina just does not have any rushing. They have Jay Taylor. He attempted 72 yards and his longest was 36. He averages 5.1 yards per carry, but the only other rusher on their team is the quarterback and he has negative yardage. I wonder where my other computer is. I have no idea where my other computer is. That's crazy. Absolutely crazy. Give me a second, y'all. I'm going to see if I can find it real quick. Could it do it?
I've had some weary days and some sleepless nights. But when I look around, and I think things over, all of my good days outweigh my bad days. I can tell the clouds hang low. I can hardly see the road. I ask the question, Lord. Lord.
Okay. Can y'all hear me? Sorry about that. Man, hush. Take that L. Take it. Take the L. Can y'all hear me? I look much clearer. That's for sure. Coach looks like he's saying the ball was moved. Are they cheating down there in Orangeburg? They cheating in Orangeburg. Nah, say it ain't so, y'all. Say it ain't so. They said they cheating over there. All right, I had to get on my phone because um I don't know what Braxton was on my computer, my other computer earlier, and only God knows where that is. North Carolina Central got spotted the ball last drive, and now South Carolina Central is getting spotted the ball this drive. Don't leave the game in the hand of the officials. Here y'all go. Y'all gonna be talking about the MEAC refs next. Y'all gonna be talking about the MEAC refs next. Listen, I here's what I'm gonna say. So now, okay, anything could happen, a fumble could happen, whatever, whatever. Here's my question. Is Jackson State finally unequivocally number one with no questions asked, or are folks gonna try to be funny and put Tennessee State first? That's what I want to know. I feel like folks be trying to be funny and we refuse to give or Jackson State the number one. I don't know why though. They do not like giving Jackson State number one on anything. They just don't like doing it. It's like they hate to give Jackson State that number one spot. It grieves their spirit to say Jackson State post Dion after 80 players left the program is number one. They do not like doing it. South Carolina State can't be number one just because they beat. First of all, first FAMU was the number one team. That's what y'all been saying all season long. FAMU number one, FAMU number one, FAMU number one. Then Jackson State beat FAMU. Now all of a sudden, North Carolina Central number one. North Carolina Central. Uh-oh. Now, North, I don't know. I mean, anything could happen, right? It's football. But can we be number one now? Are we allowed to have our number one spot? Can we please have our number one spot now? You're going to have to take it. Well, hopefully he don't get into the press conference and say that the calls by the coach, the refs was BS. Woo-hoo! That was such a great um matchup, but you do not want to make a call that basically the call is what ends the game. You don't want to do that. That's not cool. When I said that North Carolina Central was dog walked by South Carolina State, it's kind of like a play on words, right? All right. The undisputed number one team, HBCU team. Fam, you did beat. You right. Well, Jackson State was number one before that. Let's keep it a buck. But I'm just saying they kept giving um everybody but Jackson State number one. I feel like they're gonna try to be funny and give the number one to Tennessee State, and it's like Tennessee State that lost to Tennessee Tech. That got dog walked by North Dakota State. Uh-oh. Mr. Ford said drop that link. All right, Mr. Ford, give me a second. What's the score? Is it final? What happened? What happened? What's the score? I had to turn it off because I had to get on my I was watching the game on my phone. What's the score? Let me look at the score. This thing ain't updated. It say 2 minutes and 14 seconds. Is that final? Put the final on it. All right, Mr. Ford, I'm finna drop the line. I got something to say. I got something to say. Hang on, y'all. Wait, let me put this out. I'm gonna stop this. All right. Here you go, Mr. Ford. I'm finna drop that link. Kobe? It's looking like it's another rematch. It's looking like it's another rematch. Oh, wait. I'm echoing. Come on, Mr. Ford. Yeah, I got too much stuff going on. Mr. Ford.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Hey, Mr. Ford, how you doing?
All right, how you doing? I didn't want to call while the game was going on.
I was getting here. We was just kind of getting ready because I wanted to hear what you had to say. But I wanted to say that this game had so many implications because we literally got to see the two best teams in the MEAC going toe to toe, right?
Amen.
And we got to see a true test, right, of both North Carolina Central and South Carolina State. Because these other teams that they've played, they've either been like North Carolina Central, they've played some D2 schools, they played North Carolina A&T, wasn't necessarily a good litmus test. South Carolina State played FAMU earlier in the season. We knew that they were formidable, but they fell short in Bragg, which, South Carolina State is actually undefeated as of right now at home.
Yeah.
They 4-0.
Right. Oh yeah.
So tell us about Coach Chennis Berry, because you was speaking on him preseason and you said you better get Chennis this year because if you don't, you're gonna have a hard time catching up.
Well, still stay with that. One thing about Chennis, whatever he looks like, one year he's always better than next year. Um, this was a heavyweight fight. This was Ali Frazier. Um, I thought those were two of our top coaches in HBCU, two of our top staffs. You also got to remember now that both of these guys worked under Dawson Odoms at Southern, and you were asking,
Wow.
yeah. Trey was his defensive coordinator. Chennis was his offensive coordinator. You were asking about the play calling. The play calling at South Carolina State is done by a Grambling graduate. His name is Jonathan Williams. He too worked at Southern. I think he worked at Southern under Dooley. Dooley had him out at Prairie View and then took him from Prairie View to Southern. And then I believe he left Southern and went to Benedict College with Chennis. So, yeah, this was a heavyweight fight, and I think you're correct. I think we will see the rematch of South Carolina State and Jackson State.
Now
Still,
the last time that we faced South Carolina State, we dog walked them so bad. Ooh, we did them dirty, boy.
yeah, that was in the SWAC
It
MEAC
was belt
challenge,
to
right?
ass in that
Yeah, but
MEAC SWAC challenge.
listen. This is a whole different program. It's a whole different program. That was
Okay, and
Buddy's. That was
we got
Buddy's
a whole
last year.
different program too.
Yeah, yes, two different
Let's just
teams.
keep
You're
it a
right.
buck, Mr.
Yeah,
Ford. We got a whole different program too. Mind you, our offensive line, our quarterback, our defense, our defensive schemes, our special teams, our linebackers. Like we have a whole different team too now. All
oh,
right.
I'm
So
looking
when
forward to it.
I doing an eye test, Eric Phoenix is it. Okay.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Without a doubt.
Dual
Yeah.
threat quarterback.
Oh, yeah.
Um,
That 20-yard
and
run at the end there. Yeah, that kind of sealed it.
I will say this, Coach Chennisberry believes that fourth down is the new third down.
Yeah. Yeah.
Fourth down is the new third down for him.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
So I wanted to. The reason why I have it titled that that North Carolina Central gets dog walked by South Carolina State, because at the time that I created this live, they were actually getting dog walked. They just had 14 unanswered points in the fourth quarter while I was getting ready for the show. So, but when we do a game comparison, I could still possibly say that South Carolina State dog walked North Carolina Central. South Carolina State had 467 total yards versus 268. North Carolina Central had 210 pass yards, and it still says that they only had 58 rush yards.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, they were.
So North Carolina Central got a running back.
No, they were very stingy. That front four for and those linebackers are very stingy for them Bulldogs tonight. And then that pass rush was even stingier.
So Walker Harris, he was able to throw for 210 yards, 2 touchdowns, 1 interception, 58% completion percentage. Eric Phoenix threw 26 of 36 for 321 yards, 2 touchdowns, 1 interception, 72% completion percentage. Do y'all feel like that was a fumble? Do you feel like that was a fumble, Mr. Ford, in the end zone?
The angles, I really couldn't tell with the angles. Because
That ball
all you
was
got to do
out.
is the plane. That's what Jay said. Jay Walker thought it was out. Yeah,
I
he
could have
said,
sworn that not only do you have to hit the plane, but you have to have control of the ball. I could have sworn if you fumble inside the end zone, it doesn't count. But maybe that's not the rule in college football. a lot of folks said that North Carolina Central's defense is usually better than that. So here was my take at the reason why I felt like South Carolina State was going to beat North Carolina Central. Last week, North Carolina Central played Morgan State, and Morgan State was able to hold them to 16 points.
Right.
So I felt like South Carolina State was going to scour all over the film and basically replicate whatever Morgan State was doing. And it looks like in the first half, they literally shut out North Carolina Central from scoring. It says North Carolina Central almost went the entire first half without a first down. Wow. So that means South Carolina State defense not playing. And then Chennis Berry was talking about the offensive line and the defensive line, the trenches, that physicality. But to our credit, I feel like Jackson State built their offensive and offensive line and defensive line to mimic those types of trenches that they have in the MEAC. What do you think, Mr. Ford?
It's going to be listen, if they do meet up in the Celebration Bowl, I think it's going to be a great game. You've got two outstanding programs, two blue blood HBCU programs. Both of y'all got four? I think both of you got 4 Hall of Famers in the NFL Hall of Fame, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So it's
we
going.
Just waiting on Jimmy Jackson. Yeah.
Don't forget Harold Jackson. Don't forget Harold Jackson. Don't forget Harold Jackson.
Harold Jackson too.
Harold Jackson.
So that's 5-6. We just waiting on them too.
Oh yeah.
I don't know what they waiting on.
I don't know what they're waiting on. Definitely about Harold Jackson, because Harold Jackson for many years could not be checked by nobody.
Mr. Ford, what does this mean for the MEAC? Wouldn't you say this is an upset? North Carolina Central was primed to be the Celebration Bowl. It's kind of like what I always say in the MEAC is like, don't get too excited because MEAC play is what determines who goes to the Celebration Bowl.
Well, I thought that South Carolina State was a better team. The other thing that there's some SWAC principles that has been added to South Carolina State way they're throwing that football. Now, remember, Jonathan Williams was a quarterback under, what was the guy's name they fired at Grambling? That was his quarterback. Matter of fact, I think was it his first quarterback? No.
Who did they fire at Grambling?
You know the guy that's at ULM now. What's his name? Somebody put it in. What was Grambling's coach's name that they fired and he's at ULM now?
Avis says South Carolina State only has 3.
Oh, they only have 3? I know it's Deacon Jones.
Avis said that they counted somebody that stopped in.
It's Deacon Jones.
He said that they counted somebody that stopped in.
What's that guy's name? The Steeler safety. What was his name? Oh, man. The guy that played for the Steelers.
They counted somebody that stopped in Orangeburg for a snack. Avis, don't do that because we're going to be claiming.
Okay, yeah. Thank you, Avis. That guy, listen, Jonathan Williams played for for Fobbs. Fobbs, yeah. Yeah. And he was calling the plays tonight. But he's throwing it. South Carolina State, basically, in the old days, they ran something what we call the veer. They didn't really do a lot of they didn't really do yeah.
I mean, Eric Phoenix did that same type of offense at Benedict. Right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I'm trying to think now. I don't think Fobbs was his. I'm not Fobbs. I don't think Jonathan Williams was his offensive coordinator at Benedict. I'm not sure, but I have to check that.
Mr. Ford,
mm-hmm.
There's some delusional folks in the chat talking about people are hoping for a FAMU versus South Carolina State rematch in the Celebration Bowl. Nobody's hoping that. Nobody.
Well, the people at my school, they kind of believed that at the beginning of the season that those two teams would meet up in the Celebration Bowl, but right now it seems that they're wrong. But there was the people who did believe that would be a rematch. Hey, Miss Whitley,
It's the year of the who, Mr. Ford?
you're the Tigers.
The year of the Tigers. That's
You're the
right, EA.
Tigers.
So step aside. Listen, the FAMU faithful are in shambles trying to figure out, how can they possibly make it to the Celebration Bowl? They don't want to admit it, but they're like doing little scenarios like, okay, if
Oh,
Jackson
yeah,
State
there it is.
loses
It's Donnie
here
Shell.
and
That's that guy's name, Donnie Shell. He was with the Steelers. He's a South Carolina State graduate, and he's in the NFL Hall of Fame. So it was Marion Motley, Deacon Jones, uh, Donnie Shell.
didn't Deacon Jones go to Valley? Where did Deacon Jones? I
He
thought
went to both
Deacon
schools.
South Carolina State.
He went to both
No,
schools.
South Carolina State kicked Deacon Jones out for protesting for civil rights. I remember that stuff. I remember that.
He went
We
to
did a
both
show on that a
schools.
long time ago, Mr. Ford.
He went to both schools.
That's Valleys. That's Valleys. That's Valleys right there. I'm Chris. I'm saying that, but when Shador and Travis get drafted, Jackson State. We're saying Deacon Jones had a snack.
There it is. It's Harry Carson, Deacon Jones, Shell, Motley, and Carson. So they do have four. They have four Hall of Famers.
All right. You hear that, Avis? You hear that, Avis? They got four. All right. So let me see if I could pull up South Carolina State, the rest of their season, and we'll see what it's looking like. It looked like they got to play Howard next week. And then they play Morgan State. At this point, I want to say that, oh, dang, then it's over with. Dang, they only got 3 more games.
Yeah.
See, that's not fair.
They end before Thanksgiving, right? They end the week before Thanksgiving, right?
Then they just over here chilling.
They've always
looking at our film.
They don't make the money that the SWAC makes.
Right. Okay. So realistically speaking, you see how Howard been playing. I don't know what happened to that program. They was just Celebration Bowl contenders.
They won't go out and get a Jay Walker. They won't go out and get a Ted White.
Oh, please don't bring up Jay Walker.
Jay Walker could play. I'm telling you, I saw him play. He could play. He came from Long Beach State. Right. Played for George Allen.
All right. So let's just keep it a buck. South Carolina State, the rest of the way, with the exception of Morgan State, I only see one loss on here, and they're already 2-0 in conference, which means that they would have to lose twice in order for somebody to even tie with them, right?
Right.
Or if it was a tie, like let's say they slip up and lose to Morgan State, they would have the edge over North Carolina Central. And I think they stopped, but this is why they should have, don't you think they should have a MEAC championship, or you said no?
Yeah, and the other thing I wish they had a new commissioner, and then I wish they could get some more teams in the MEAC. That's two things I wish.
Yeah, they have time to come out with a whole new playbook. Something ain't nobody seen before. For me, one thing that I did see is that rollout. And I also see that Jackson State repetitively has been able to contain the rollout of the quarterback, right? So versus Daniel Richardson, um, we contained him. Um, versus Bethune Cookman, it took a half with adjustments, but we were able to contain um, Sprague, right? We're getting ready to go against Makai Hagans. He's another quarterback that likes to do that rollout. And once he rolls out of the pocket, he's able to make plays. So we'll be once again containing the quarterback. It's almost like getting reps at containing the quarterback because Eric Phoenix is the same way. That's one of those quarterbacks where you have to contain him. He also reminds me of Cam in the sense that he will take off, right? He'll look, and then if he doesn't see what he needs to see and he sees the space for running, he will take off. Happy belated birthday, Katie. There can be a three-way tie. So who breaks the three-way tie?
The conference has a tiebreaker.
Okay. We contained Tissette too. Tissette didn't last. He didn't even last a one quarter. It was over with.
Listen, all you got to remember about Southern University. You remember the shoe store Pick and Pay? That's the kind of coaching staff Southern has. They spend $18 million on athletics, and then they got a Pick and Pay shoe. What that place was called? Pick
I
and
thought
Pay
you
shoes.
are you talking about Payless shoes.
Pay less shoes. That's right. That's kind of
That
staff.
man said pick and pay. Pick which shoes you want and tell me how much you want to pay for them.
Yeah, pay less shoes. That's kind of staff Southern has. They spend $18 million on sports, and they got a pay
Not
less.
too much on Southern, Mr. Ford. Not too much on Southern. Southern is in first place over there in the SWAC West.
That lets you know the Swag West is pathetic. But the main thing you got to understand about Southern is that Roman Banks destroyed Southern's football program. He cannot rebuild it, so he needs to be removed.
Oh Lord, not the pick and pay. He done made up a
Yeah, that's why they
story.
got pick and pay shoes. Pay less shoes. That's kind of staff they got down there. Them guys.
Payless shoes. Payless shoes been getting up, boy. Southern is
Yeah,
first over there in the SWAC West.
yeah. Well, that tells you how pitiful the Swag West is. That's why I said get rid of divisions. Haven't you heard me say that? Get rid of divisions and pick the best two teams to play in the SWAC championship.
It still wouldn't be FAMU. It'll be Jackson State and Alabama State.
I know it wouldn't be Southern, not with that staff they got.
It'll be Jackson State and Alabama State. Excuse me.
Oh,
According
I'm looking
according
forward
to
to that game. Well, when is that game? Is that November what? 16th? November
16,
what? Oh, I'm looking
November
for that
16th.
big game.
Yeah.
That's going to be a big game.
Yeah. I'm thinking about you think I should have a special live for the vote.
For what now?
For is it Tuesday we supposed to be voting? Tuesday.
Yeah, Tuesday, yeah, November 5th, right?
Yeah, we supposed to be voting. Listen, they came and they left a flyer on people's doors, and somebody tore it was like a Kamala Harris, or Kamala, excuse me, Vice President Kamala Harris. It was like a pamphlet with all the Democrats on it. Somebody tore it up and left it like I want to say like kind of like in front of my house, but not really. I'm like, what you leaving this in front of my house for? I didn't leave it. You act like I left it out there. I didn't do that. Boy, You're gonna have to keep your head on the swivel on November 5th, y'all. Keep your head on the swivel, these folks.
You are absolutely correct, baby.
I took my son trick-or-treating like the regular way, because when you go to those trunk or treats, they give you about 2 or 3 pieces of candy, and then they go to the next child. Okay, that's good. I'm gonna do that. So Saturday, it's gonna get ugly. I don't like that. I don't want to be in the midst of that. So I'm gonna make sure I go vote as soon as I drop off Braxton to school. I'm gonna go vote. I'm gonna bring my driver's license, but I really want to see if they're gonna let me vote with my student ID, because technically a student ID from a state institution is technically a state ID. Technically. We're gonna see if it works, Mr. Ford.
Okay.
Because we have to show ID in North Carolina.
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm.
Do y'all have to do that in Georgia?
Yeah, you have to show ID. Yes. Mm-hmm.
Did you hear? Okay, so this is a little bit off topic, but it is Atlanta, Georgia news. Did you hear that? What's his name? Jeffrey Smith got pled guilty. You know who that is, Mr. Ford?
No, you got to tell me, who is Jeffrey Smith, man?
What's that man? Young Thug.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
You know who that is, Mr. Ford? I know you do with them kids you got in your classes.
Yeah, I know who Young Thug is. Yeah.
Well, he pled guilty, and they gave him a 5 years they gave him 45 years in prison, but they gave him 5 years commuted, so basically time served, 15 years on probation, and 20 years if he violates probation.
Okay.
So the kids will be talking about it tomorrow in school.
Oh yeah, without a doubt.
I just wanted to give you a heads up, you know.
Oh yeah.
And they said Doc says Arthur Blank is endorsing VP Harris.
Well, most of your what we would call the power structure, they're endorsing him. You have to understand that. I mean, initially, the Wall Street people did put Trump in office because he's never won an election. Hillary beat him, Biden beat him, and this lady's going to beat him Tuesday. And so Wall Street is through with him because they said he went rogue, he wouldn't listen. And so that's why he's not going to win, because Wall Street is against him. And you got to understand, Wall Street controls the Electoral College. And you can get all the votes you want, but if you don't get the Electoral College, you're not going to win. Because remember, Gore beat Bush in the popular vote, but he didn't win the Electoral College. Okay?
Well, they were saying like North Carolina. Okay, so in Pennsylvania, what they're doing in Pennsylvania is they are purging, and the Supreme Court agreed that they could purge eligible voters off of the voter rolls. Not even 5 days before they could continue to purge people from voting. And then you would have to do a same-day registration. But then technically, if you do a same-day registration, they're going to put your vote to the side. That's why I always like to vote on the same day. I want my votes to be the same day votes, because mail-in ballots, they get set to the side. You know, I always want to vote on the same day so that my vote can be counted in the same day votes. And I'm not telling people that they shouldn't do early voting, but in the state of Mississippi, they don't have early voting. There's just so many ways for voter disenfranchisement that's been happening right under our nose. And one of them's in Pennsylvania, in North Carolina. They've been doing things where they split, like North Carolina A&T is a really big voting poll, like it's a place where students vote. They cut it right down the middle. So depending on what side of North Carolina A&T you stay on, you're gonna have to go to said polling place.
Right.
No, I'm not gonna be running for office. I don't want to deal with the politics. No thanks. Mr. Ford, are you excited about Tuesday? Or you think it's gonna be similar to
No, I think she wins. I do believe that Vice President Harris wins, but I do believe that there will be a revolt because I don't think that these people are in this militia for nothing.
what militia?
Oh, come on now. You know that strong. The militia's been strong since Barack Obama was in office.
You talking about the KKK?
Yeah, the militia. They have. Listen, they say that the militia has more weapons than the United States military. Because many of the militia people are former military people. There's some people who are predicting the possibility of 50% of the military deserting.
So just like that movie that you told us that we should watch. You remember in the summertime you was telling us to watch the movie?
Yeah, Civil War.
Oh my God.
Yeah. Yeah, the good old boys are locked and loaded. Oh, yeah.
Well, I would just tell everybody to, of course, exercise your right to vote, but also to be very mindful. Mindful of your surroundings, mindful of your coworkers. Don't too much talk about voting. I would have been lied and said I ain't voted. I don't know enough about voting. I don't care.
You need to warn all these brothers that used to brag about being the only blacks in their neighborhoods. You better be very careful.
Right.
You and your children. Used to be a time people, I'm the only black in my neighborhood. Yeah. We'll see how long that you bragging on that.
You know what? I saw that there wasn't a lot of people that were out, like, not out, but usually they have like a lot of pumpkins and designs on their houses and stuff. These folks was not handing out candy like that, Mr. Ford. Braxton doesn't need candy anyway. He just needed the experience. So there were houses that had a couple of them, but for real, I feel like folks was like already in a mood and already are coming to terms with the fact that Donald Trump possibly is going to lose.
Yeah,
and they just wasn't feeling it. They wasn't feeling doing the Halloween this year.
Oh yeah.
$25 a bag. That's exactly what I was outside collecting other people's candy. I wasn't handing out any candy. $25 a bag. Kids do not need. And Braxton, I'm going to hold on to that candy. Probably he goes with his daddy this weekend. I'll be throwing it away. So, Mr. Ford, since you're here right before you get off to go to bed, let's go ahead and do these predictions for this upcoming week.
Okay.
I'm going to pull up MEAC first. The juggernauts already got it out the way. South Carolina State versus North Carolina Central. I pretty much predicted that South Carolina State was going to win. It was just basically based off of how Morgan State played North Carolina Central. I was like, oh yeah, because Morgan State would have beat Central if they had an offense. They don't have an offense, so that's why they weren't able to win.
Right.
And so I was like, South Carolina State's offense is whoo. And you know what's funny? People were like saying Eric Phoenix came from D2, like he's not like that. And he's been putting on a clinic ever since.
Yeah, I've said, but we get caught up in these labels, D2, D1, and all that. But basically, all these black schools are in the same bag.
Norfolk State versus Morgan State, Mr. Ford. Who you got?
Morgan.
Delaware State versus Howard?
I'd have
Howard,
to go.
right?
I think Delaware State's run out of gas.
I was getting ready to say, dang, you think Howard's going to lose to Delaware State too? At least let them get one win.
Yeah, like I said earlier, if what Larry Scott has to do, he has to go out and get a big time quarterback. I think he tries to stay away from the portal, from the transfer portal. But he needs to go out and get him 2 Division I transfers at the quarterback position.
Do you think that Arkansas Pine Bluff's receiver and quarterback stay at Arkansas Pine Bluff, Mekhi Higgins and Giovanni Gibson? Or do you think they go FBS?
You know, I'm gonna be honest with you. I was talking to a friend of mine, and her daughter is going to Ole Miss to play basketball, and she's going to be making $150,000. So, I think if somebody come up with the money, yeah, they leaving.
$150,000
Contract if she scores so many points, and she gets a base salary, I think, of 50. But if they go to the tournament and they do all this, she could make $150,000 as a
Oh
freshman.
wow.
Yeah,
That's where that UAPB alum is coaching at, right?
yeah, that's right. Yeah, yeah.
Oh Lord, what you getting on our thing for, scaring folk? What you over here scaring folks for?
Scary hours tonight. Nah, I've been at work all
Look, do
day.
you see him, Mr. Ford, looking scary?
Uh-uh. Let's see. Oh, okay. What, Doc, what you got, a mask on or something?
Yeah,
Oh,
I've
okay.
been born all day.
Okay.
You over there looking scary as hell, Doc. Over there looking like a mix of a predator and what's one of them little killer killer monsters?
You know
Hey,
what?
the big game is SMU and Pittsburgh and Dallas this weekend, isn't it?
Well, I think so.
Yeah. Both of them are undefeated, I think, in the ACC.
Oh yeah, it's
That's
gonna be
gonna
a
be a
good
big
one.
game. Yeah, that's gonna be a big game. It's gonna be a lot of people after that guy at SMU.
Oh yeah, they gonna come after
They
him.
don't never let coaches sit down for too long. I thought Alabama A&M was going to go after Chennisberry. Jay White was in the chat talking about Chennisberry to Alabama A&M.
Is happy where he is. I think he's happy because he was a hot commodity.
Yeah,
He could
but
have.
if you ain't letting him go, yeah.
I think he's happy in Orangeburg. I don't think he's going anywhere.
Okay, Grambling versus Bethune-Cookman in Daytona. Who y'all got?
Bethune will win the first half.
How much is it?
Grambling will win the game. Yeah, because Bethune they can. From what I saw last week, they can play a first half. It's just they can't finish a game. What's that guy's name? Luke Sprigg. What's his name? Luke Sprigg.
Sprigg.
Yeah, Luke Sprigg. When you got a guy like that, you got to have 2 quarterbacks. Because to me, he was really good in the first half, and then he kind of like ran out of gas in the second half. You got to have 2 quarterbacks with him. Because he looked good in that first half.
Okay, Arkansas Pine Bluff versus Jackson State. Mr. Ford, who you got?
I got Jackson by 20, 25 points.
Ooh.
Should blow them out.
This is a good one. Southern versus Alabama A&M.
Is that in Huntsville?
Yeah.
I'll go with A&M.
Ooh. Prairie View versus Valley in Itabena.
Prairie View.
What?
Yeah. Has Valley won a game?
No.
Okay.
I mean, I don't. They need to schedule a D2 school or NAIA. Somebody in the chat Sonic Boom C98 said, this was no surprise. Both teams have only played struggling teams. When I said it, I was called a hater when I said that some of these teams that are getting ranked highly are getting ranked and they haven't played a formidable team. So when I said North Carolina Central, who have they beaten? They played North Carolina A&T. Of course, you're going to dog walk them. They've only won one game. Norfolk State, which is at the bottom of the conference.
And looking for a coach.
Campbell is at the bottom of their conference. They've only won 2 games this season. Virginia Lynchburg is a D2 school. I was just trying to figure out
Virginia Lynchburg not even the D2 school.
Oh, I was just trying to figure out how they got ranked so high. Like what made them?
They have wins. You know, that's what they look at.
Wins against who?
It doesn't matter. You got wins. That's what they look at. Are you winning?
I don't think that's it though, because we've been winning.
If you keep winning, you'll be ranked.
Well,
Elon beat the dog snot out of them, and Elon is, I want to say,
Elon is towards the bottom of that conference.
They are in the 14th in the CAA. So when you, and Hampton even beat Elon, but I'm saying that to say this, I don't know how they were ranked so high, because, and another one that I want to say, and I'm not trying to hate, I just want to ask the question, is Tennessee State, right? Because some of their wins, which will be playing the same teams, right? But our ranking is not based on that, which is Tennessee State played Valley and UAPB, North Dakota State. They lost to North Dakota State and Tennessee Tech. They beat Valley, Howard, and UAPB. And who else? Who else did they beat?
They beat Eastern Illinois. They also beat I don't think they played Lindenwood this year.
No, they're getting ready to play.
They get ready to play Tennessee Martin on Saturday.
Yeah, we're gonna find out about that Martin game.
Right, they have to beat UT Martin. If they beat UT
they're
Martin,
gonna win the OBC. They got to beat UT Martin.
But then,
right.
No, the real game, but the biggest game for them is at the end of the season when they play SEMO.
Oh yeah, Southeast Missouri. Yeah, you're right.
Russell, please name one non-conference game that North Carolina Central had this season that was no joke. I didn't see it. Please name one. Can you find the game that they played this year?
They beat Alabama State, didn't they?
By 1 touchdown, because they lost both of their quarterbacks. He said that MEAC's schedule is no joke non-conference, and I said, where's the game at that they played this year that was no joke? They played a money game with UNC Chapel Hill. But other than that, outside of that, like, where, I just wanted to know that. But you know what, Mr. Ford, week in and week out, everybody has been ranking Jackson. They refuse to rank Jackson State number 1. Like, it's almost like, okay, I'm going to put FAMU at number 1 so that when Jackson State beats FAMU, then there's not going to be a question of who's number 1. Jackson State beat FAMU, and all of a sudden they put North Carolina Central at number 1. It's like, what? What are you doing? Why is North Carolina Central at number 1? Jackson State should be at number 1. So now North Carolina Central is no longer at number 1. So now what?
Jackson State is number 1.
Is Jackson State going to be number?
In your mind, is it Tennessee?
Huh?
Who's number 2?
You said
who's number 2? Tennessee State.
You said
who's number 2? Tennessee State.
It's either South
Who is
Carolina
number
State or
2?
Tennessee State. We'll find out about Tennessee State this weekend.
Okay.
I got Jackson State number one until this weekend. So if Tennessee State can come out with a victory over Martin, I will have them at number 2. I will put South Carolina State at number 3. Now, if Tennessee State loses, I will put South Carolina State at number 2, and I will put Tennessee State at number 3, and I would pretty much put FAMU at number 4. I give them a fourth ranking. But other than that, I can't put no other team above Jackson State because they are you just gotta play who you got on your schedule. And it doesn't matter if the team has a winning record or they have a losing record. If you win, you win. You know what I'm saying? I
It
don't care.
does matter.
No,
It
but
absolutely matters.
what I'm saying is if who it does, I mean, like we can't predict like who's gonna have a losing record, who's gonna have a winning record. What I'm saying is,
You could predict that UAPB and Valley were going to have losing records. You could
well,
predict
we
that
couldn't
Virginia
we wouldn't.
Lynchburg was going to have a losing record. Winston-Salem State, North Carolina A&T, those were
No, Winston-Salem State
absolutely
ain't got to win the
predictable.
loser record. Winston-Salem ain't got a losing record. Winston-Salem is like
I'm talking about in
is
terms of playing an FCS opponent.
well, if they would
know
not.
that that's a win.
Nah, if they would not had, if Winston-Salem State should have beat A&T in that game. I'm
We
not.
talking about A&T though. I'm talking about any other FCS team. You can put North Carolina. You can put a Winston-Salem State on your schedule, and you know that that's a win.
Not all the way. We can't say that.
What?
You can't say that. I'm telling you.
Yeah.
I'm just saying. I'm saying from prior. I'm telling you from prior past. It's not always going to happen like that. If that was the case, that was the case. Valley put Delta State on their schedule, and you figured they were going to get a win out of that.
I think they did that just as like a hometown matchup, maybe.
Yeah, it was because it was a classic for them.
How did that schedule help you against JSU?
I mean,
you right, EA. FAMU had the toughest schedule, period. You still got their ass beat. Let me stop making fun of them, folks. All right. Lawrence says, what happens if Hampton beats number 13 Nova? What will their ranking be in the HBCU poll?
Sure, I'll put them at number 3. I will have them in my top. I have them in my top 5. If they go out there and beat Nova on Saturday, I would definitely put them in my top 5.
I currently have Hampton in my top 5 anyway. This is my rankings for week 10. I got Jackson State at number 1, Tennessee State at number 2. Number 3 is North Carolina Central. Number 4 is South Carolina State. Number 5 is Hampton. Number 6 is Bama State. Number 7 is FAMU. Number 8 is Sutton. Number 9 is Alcorn State. And number 10 is Alabama A&M.
So I got Jackson State 1, Tennessee State number 2, Central at number 3, South Carolina State at number 4. So I'll probably move South Carolina State up to 3. Hampton is 5th. I got FAMU at 6, Bama State at 7, Alcorn, Southern, and Grambling all round out the last 3 spots on my top 10 for week 10. I'm mad I ain't get a chance to do a top 10 show because I was gonna do my D2, but I ain't even got to that. But if Hampton can beat Villanova this weekend, they'll definitely be like top. They'll probably be top 3, top 4.
UAPB is tied for 3rd in West. I may be wrong. Let me look it up. That up, folks.
They are.
Mr. Ford, did you see that Alcorn lost to Talladega?
Was that basketball?
Yep.
Yes.
Whoa. That's girls or boys?
Boys,
Ooh, dang,
how they gonna fix it?
that's bad. What's that guy's name? What's the guy's name at Alcorn?
Bussy.
Yeah, he's one of our top coaches, isn't he?
He was trying to go to FAMU quiet as a cat. They revealed his name on the application, y'all. Let me stop being messy. Bussy was trying to head on out to
Yeah, I can see him
he
trying to
wanted
go.
to go to Tallahassee.
Well, when Jay was down there, he applied for the family football job.
Who?
Jay Hobson.
What?
Yeah, he applied for it because he knew Derek Horn. Derek and Jay both were athletes at Ole Miss.
Ooh. So basketball getting ready to start back up.
Oh yeah.
And I'm
Hey, let me
excited because
say
Jackson
this.
State is actually coming up here to Carolina.
Yeah, but let me say this to Mickey Joseph, the coach at Grambling. If you think
Oh,
officiating is bad now, you should have seen the SWAC about 4 years ago when it was really bad. Because if you ask me, over the last 4 years, the officiating in football has improved. Now, about 10 years ago in the MEAC, it was so bad, they got rid of all of the old officials and brought in nothing but high school officials, and they got better overnight. Okay? So let me just say this to Mickey Joseph. SWAC officiating has improved. Because about 4 years ago, it was horrible. It was horrible.
Mr. Ford.
Huh?
Why is you calling out Coach Joseph on my show?
I was saying, he was saying that about the bad calling and all, but I'm just saying SWAC officiating has gotten better. You know what? I wish he could have seen SWAC officiating about 4 years ago.
What 4 years ago was 2020?
Yeah. When Shadur and them was in the league, oh, it was terrible. I mean, and we should
Oh,
be
we was
hurt
winning,
because
so I
we were,
can't complain.
at the time, we were getting all those national games and stuff, and it was just bad. And the best game that would be officiated would always be the celebration game. I found out they were bringing in officials from FBS conferences. That's why they were doing such a good job. But yeah, but I just want to say that to Coach Joseph, you think SWAC officiating is bad now? You should have saw it 4 years ago. You should have
I'm
seen.
gonna tell
Like I
you the
said,
truth. I ain't
10 years
got no
ago, I remember
complaint.
when the BAC got rid of all of those officials because they were horrible,
Ooh.
and they brought in
So what
nothing
did
but.
you think about what he said? What did you think about what he said?
Like I said, I think it's gotten better. I think officiating in this SWAC has gotten better. Because, like I said, about 4 years ago, it was horrible. You can ask anybody. It was terrible.
Well, there's a lot of commentary in the chat. I'm gonna let y'all have it. As far as the officiating is concerned, I don't, I'll keep my mouth shut, honey. I don't have nothing to say regarding the officiating. I will say this: when Jackson State was winning, I ain't had no complaints. See, when your team is winning or when you're on the other side of the calls, then you don't trip so much. Like that blatant fumble that happened, I feel like it was a fumble. Doc, did you see it? The South Carolina State, Eric Phoenix took it in for a rushing touchdown and he fumbled it. They said that it was a touchdown. But that's the thing. Whenever the calls are going in your favor, you don't say nothing. Because Coach Gremlin definitely got some calls in the hole versus Jackson State. Now, you wasn't complaining then. You was getting Gatorade showers. Yeah, over there getting Gatorade showers and everything. He said, it's some bullshit. That's what he said.
Yeah.
And y'all can find me.
Yeah, they did. I think they hit him with $5,000, right?
He said he didn't care. He
Yeah.
don't care. He said, I don't care. Find me. Please find me. Dang, they made him apologize, and then but it's on wax, right? Y'all gotta come up with some better officiating. Basically, that's what I got out of it.
Hey,
Passing interference on Bowler was BS. Gave them 3 points.
yeah, Mr. Bona, I'm gonna have to turn it in. Listen, y'all have a good
Yeah,
night.
I'll be turning it on in too. I'm excited. Um, I'm gonna finish up these, of course, these games, which there's like two. So Alabama State versus Alcorn. I'm pretty sure anybody
Alabama
who
State. Give me Alabama State.
what? It's at Alcorn.
Give me Alabama State. Alabama State's having offensive problems, and they have a vertical game. They can't throw the football.
Texas Southern. Man, Texas Southern versus Florida A&M. Who you got?
The
I
Rattlers.
know who you had. The Rattlers.
The
They gonna
Rattlers.
strike, and strike out.
Like the Rattlers.
He paid 5 G's in one game. All right, Mr. Ford. We'll see you here on Saturday for SWAC Saturday. Okay.
Okay, you have a good night. Okay.
You too.
All right.
EA, there are no snakes in these chats. There ain't no snakes up in here talking about some happy homecoming rattlers. Ain't no rattlers up in here except for you and maybe one other person. Oh, the game's in Mobile. I'm sorry. Alcorn and Bama State is in Mobile. I don't know why I keep saying it's on the reservation. They should make if it was on the reservation, they might have had an edge, right? That touchdown they took from Irv and JSU was some bullshit. Listen, I can definitely agree with that. The touchdown that they took away from Irv and JSU, that was some definite bullshit for some sideline interference that should have been first a warning and then secondly a penalty. And I'm pretty sure the penalty, I'm not sure if it's 15 yards, but anyway, yeah. I would have thought that if they did call a penalty, it still would have been a touchdown, but they would have just applied the 15-yard penalty to I don't know, the kick return, give the team give Bethune 15 extra yards or something. Glorilla just performed for the students. EA, she was already here yesterday. You're probably getting yesterday's work. She was just at Jackson State yesterday. Yeah, 15 yards on the kickoff. That's what I would think. You unsportsmanlike conduct or whatever, but not take away the the touchdown. Yeah, y'all just doing anything nowadays. But all right, y'all. I wanted to get on here and just put together my thoughts for the North Carolina Central versus South Carolina State game. I definitely wanted to hear what Mr. Ford and Doc Holliday thought about the game. Um, it was actually a really great defensive game and offensive game because we got to see the offense and the defense of both teams. Right now, South Carolina State has a slight edge over um, North Carolina Central because they only play 5 games. And as we just saw, the only games that they have left are Howard, Morgan, and Norfolk State. And even if they did end in a tie, South Carolina State would have the edge over North Carolina Central. So it's almost like they darn near clinched it. With Jackson State, we have to beat. I'm not really necessarily worried about UAPB and Valley. These are 2 games where we should actually be utilizing our depth, resting some of our starters, trying some new matchups. And I feel like if you have starters that could use the extra rest, that you cannot play them as much and still come out with a dominant win. And I feel like that's what Jackson State should do, which is start utilizing your second and third string as basically first stringers, highlighting the depth, right, that you have in your running back core, your wide receivers, your defensive line, your linebackers, even as far as the DBs, rotating them in and out for these next two games. Because these next two games, number one, they're at home, so you have the full offense and defense at your disposal. Number two, of course, these two teams are UAPB obviously is going to give up an offensive match, but defensively, they don't necessarily. I'm not going to say they're not formidable, but these are teams where you can let loose a little bit more and not necessarily have to worry about giving the game away. That November 16th game, that's going to be the game. It's like our second SWAC championship. You have to beat Alabama State in order to continue to be in the lead in the SWAC East. So I feel like this weekend, happy homecoming, of course, to Jackson State University, my alma mater. Everybody stay safe and have a great homecoming. Enjoy with the Hey Big Head. Yes.
Happy
homecoming.
homecoming.
What? Yeah, I want to go to the Alabama State versus Jackson State game. So that's what I'm hanging my hat on. Then it's Thanksgiving right after that. It's a lot going on.
8/27.
Right, huh? What'd you say?
My
Anyway.
bad, I'm at work.
Okay. So you have to be there. Like I said that, which is I wasn't going to be able to get away. You have to be on campus Friday by noon. Like if you're not there, you've already missed half of it if you're not there Thursday by noon. So Alabama State versus Jackson State in Montgomery, that will be hopefully and prayerfully my next stop. But happy homecoming. And
Take a shot for me.
take a shot for you.
Take a shot for me.
I might have a glass
For
of
all
wine
the
on
people that
Saturday
going to
evening.
homecoming.
Huh?
Oh, okay. I said,
I might
okay.
have a glass of wine on Saturday. Mm-hmm. What does this say? They safe travels to all. Yes, safe travels to all. Look at Jordan playing. See? He said Trey Oliver ain't big britches in the MEAC no more. I know that there's some people that feel salty as heck that D2 coach came into the MEAC and put belt to ass and ain't even been in Orangeburg for. Has he been there 9 months?
Yeah.
How many months he been there?
He got hired in December, or like January or something like that.
So he ain't even been there 9 months. Or he been there 9. 10 months. Belt to ass. First year, they were counting him out. Kobe's on Twitter talking his mess. He said, or talking his stuff. He said, don't ever call us D2 again.
I wouldn't call him D2 either.
Whitley being messy, talking about you're about to show out and bedazzle that fireplace, huh? say that. Kobe said, I'm thinking about what I'm gonna do to it. All right. Just as long as you know it's big JSU over here, Kobe. We can do a part 3, right? Part 1, South Carolina State beat us. They dog walked us in the Celebration Bowl. Oh my God, it was so bad. I was so embarrassed. Then MEAC SWAC challenge. MEAC SWAC challenge. What happened? What happened to the MEAC SWAC challenge?
Belt to ass.
Well, we whooped up. Do you know that? I know people don't want to talk, like, acknowledge it, but Jason Brown has all of the records. He holds all of the records for the MEAC SWAC challenge to this day. To this day, he holds all the records. So, we got South Carolina State back. We won a MEAC SWAC challenge trophy, right? And that was our first game of the season. It kind of put folks on notice, like, oh, dang, because they swore up and down that South Carolina State was going to dog walk Jackson State. I mean, they was betting their whole paycheck. I remember I pulled up receipts. Dave was like, oh, yeah. Who is that other one? The Flicks guy, Doc.
Kelly, that my boy from Inglewood.
It was like easy money. Take South Carolina State all day long and twice on Sundays, and they lost all their money. We shouldn't even let them score a touchdown. That was just, the game was basically over, and they went ahead and let Coach. We ain't do Coach Pugh like that. And now there's a possibility that we'll have a rematch. And I love this rematch for several different reasons. And one of the main reasons is we'll be at full strength, right? And we won't be going into it like, I feel like Jackson State, when we went to the Celebration Bowl the first year, all those kids just felt like we're here. We've already won. I don't know what they was doing. Did y'all go out the night before? What happened?
They ain't supposed to be doing anything during the bowl game.
Our asses whooped. Huh?
They ain't supposed to be doing anything when you at the bowl game.
I mean, we got skull drug. I was embarrassed. I'm embarrassed. But the next year, we obviously had that win in the bag. They just, all of our depth was taken. They either entered in the portal or Coach Dion didn't play him. Why do Aggies get so flustered when you speak on them not being in the MEAC? Why do they get so mad? We're gonna talk about that Saturday. I should have asked Mr. Ford when he was on. That way I could have just been like, I'm just listening to Mr. Ford. I'm not gonna say anything. Them Aggies be getting mad, boy. Aggie pride. We get it. Okay. Y'all don't want to be in the MEAC. That's fine.
Sapsuckers.
What?
Them sapsuckers.
What's a sapsucker? Why are you calling them that? They are pissed because folks are speaking on them being in the CAA. Listen, you can be in the CAA. I don't care about y'all being in the CAA. What I do care about is y'all getting y'all asses beat day in and day out, twice on Sundays. And you guys are still arguing that it's a good business decision because you guys are getting $130,000. Not a good decision. Unless they get a what is that called? A celebrity hire. Who do you think they could hire at North Carolina A&T that can change the program around?
No celebrity. Sean Gibbs from Fort Valley.
You said no celebrity?
Get Sean Gibbs from Fort Valley.
But you have to be working with a full deck. They only spend about $4 million in football, which
Uh,
to if you're an HBCU and you're spending $4 million, that's about right. But if
I would
you're
say,
a
but
William and Mary or you're a private school, which a lot of the schools in the CAA are private, you kind of just spend whatever you want on there.
I would say this. The reason why I say you go get Sean Gibbs from Fort Valley because he was at A&T and he did win championships with them as a position coach.
Did he win at Fort Valley? A championship?
Nah,
Well,
but
what
he
you going to
turned
go
them
get him
around
for?
because he's an alum of the school.
I feel like North Carolina A&T needs to just, I don't know, it's tricky when you're facing your people in your conference are like way above you in everything athletically, right? It's hard to compete. Like when you are an HBCU and you're um yes, there's a pecking order, like for instance in the SWAC. Yes, there's a pecking order in terms of how much um certain schools get in funding, but facilities wise is pretty even. I wouldn't necessarily rank. I mean, of course, you have Alabama State who has nice facilities, Prairie View, UAPB, Alabama A&M. Yeah, they have nice facilities, but when we go in terms of talent and stuff like that, just because you have the best facilities doesn't mean you necessarily have the best talent, right?
I
Or
mean,
you're
the
able to win.
well, he's I say get Sean Gibbs because he's an alum of the school. He did win
So you're
Celebration
saying
Bowls and
he was on the
championships.
Celebration Bowl championship ride.
Right. Yeah. With Rob Broadway, and he's taking Fort Valley, which was not as I mean, they was good, but he's taking them up to what they were before in the Division 2 ranks in the SIAC. So that's why I say you get him. I mean, who I'm not saying who's gonna come there, but I would either call him, I would call I would call Coach Flowers over at Johnson C. Smith for what he's doing over there.
Wait,
Uh
don't be taking Coach Flowers away from Charlotte. They haven't
hey,
had a winning season in I don't even know when the last time they
we,
won.
before we was born. since
Don't be
since
trying to
before
take him away.
but them folks gonna be calling him. They're gonna call him. I mean, even Teddy Keaton over at Clark Atlanta, you got like Mr. Ford said, you got Sam Shady Miles, you got I mean, you might even have Connor Maynard go back to A&T if the price is right.
Oh, that price right.
But
That price.
I'm just saying, I wouldn't go for a big old hire. I'll go for somebody that knows the landscape.
Mm. All right. Well, Doc, I will see you on Saturday.
I'll be on
Thank
tomorrow
you.
night.
You gonna be on Friday? At what
Yeah,
time?
8 o'clock. I got the block for Ken them.
Oh, okay. That's cool. I'll be probably taking uh Brax to Charlotte. But I'll be in the chat. I like being in the chat. I can be messy in the chat. So I will see you in the chat.
Gotcha. Peace out.
Yeah, man. Hey, write a check your ass in cash, man. That's all I can say. man, hey, write a check your ass in cash, man. That's all I can say. Man, hey, write a check your ass in cash, man. That's all I can say.
He made it big time, Willie.